There's a lot of spam in the world these days. There's AI generated slop, so much of it that seems like every other YouTube video is some sort of AI video. Some of them are funny, some of them are entertaining, some of them are pretty convincing, but it doesn't change the fact that it's not the sort of artistry that speaks to the soul. It's the kind of thing that just grabs your attention and wastes your time. There's all sorts of things that capture our attention that don't matter to our lives, like what's going on in the stock market or what's going on in some faraway part of the world in the news. We could worry about the war in Ukraine or Donald Trump or any number of other things that capture our attention and compel us to have some sort of an opinion. And of course, those things do matter if they pertain to us. It matters what's going on in politics if you're trying to figure out who to vote for. It matters if war breaks out, if you happen to be unlucky enough to be caught in it. But for the vast majority of us that are just going about our everyday lives, we don't really need to think about those things. We choose to. It's not functional. It's not serving a purpose. It's just our entertainment. The question, though, is what should we entertain ourselves with? What should we think about? And furthermore, what sort of life goals should captivate the lion's share of our day? You know, I was thinking about how at the end of the day, it's so nice to go out on a spring evening and walk around the neighborhood and breathe in the smell of the lilac bushes and look at the beauty of the sunset. And then go back home and make a hot pot of tea and play a good game and maybe read a good book. Think about all of the enjoyable things that have happened over the course of the day and look back with fondness over all of the experiences that I've had. Have a full evening of interesting activities. Maybe go back outside after the sun's gone down and reflect under the canopy of the stars and see the constellations up there. And then go to sleep and prepare to rest with the knowledge that all things are well. Or, you know, there's an alternative. The alternative is to spend the day worrying about what isn't getting done, being frustrated about things that haven't come to pass, and then when the evening comes, to be indignant and worried and frantic because of all the things that still need to be done before the day is over. The truth is, the universe is going to be in harmony, at peace with itself, no matter what we do or don't do. We can choose to be at peace with it, or we can choose to rage against the night. We can choose to be angry, or we can choose a path of harmony. We can choose to surround ourselves with those chaotic, disruptive thoughts, or we can focus on things which give us joy, which give us calm. We can accept the tranquility of our lives to be a thing which is self-evident, or we can choose to always be dissatisfied with the current state of our affairs. It's really up to us. But the cosmos will be balanced no matter what we choose to make of it. And so as we think about the path to peace, what is the best way? What is the key, the trick? It's often all about less things. You know, I've been thinking about how there's so many video games and computer games out there to play, and it's overwhelming. Because as a fan of gaming in general, there's always some new title. In the city building genre, there's always another game that's like SimCity or like Anno 1800 or like some other major title. And yet, it's not really its own thing. It's another variation on a theme that convinces you that this one is going to be more cool than all the others. There's RPGs that are beautiful and nice, but they're just another variation of the same formula that's been used so many times. That's one reason why I'm a big fan of Genshin Impact, because I remember when I first started playing the game, I truly believed and didn't doubt for a minute that this game was unlike any other game I had ever played before. It wasn't a game that was like some other game. I know people said it was like Zelda Breath of the Wild, but I had never played Zelda. And Zelda was never a PC game, so for me, it was a new experience. It was a captivating experience that was truly unique. And that's what made it special. Years after launch, I still have a vibe that I can't replicate in any other game. I'm a fan of the Elder Scrolls for a similar reason. When I first encountered the franchise, I realized it was different than anything I'd played before. It felt different. It captivated me. I didn't have a sense that it was like some other game I'd played. It was like some other franchise I'd experienced. It was a new experience. It was a special experience. And there's so many things in life that want our attention. There's so many things that want to say, here's something new that you need to look at, you need to check out. But are they really? Are they really original enough for you to start a new adventure for them? There's a sunk cost fallacy that makes us keep doing things we don't enjoy. And there's also the fear of missing out. And that's the thing that makes us always start new things and never finish the things that are the most meaningful to us. But life is not given value by being filled with an endless number of pursuits. It's okay to not do a lot of things. It's okay to miss out on a lot of stuff. That's no discredit to all of the things there are to do. It's just there's so much to be done in the world that all of a lifetime is not enough space to do it all. So you've got to look at what really gives you value. It's been said that knowing is not as important as understanding. Because understanding is not so much a thing of the mind, but it is a thing of the heart. For the last couple months, I've been working a daily checklist of things that I wanted to do. I actually was talking about it in a recent video. And those things are usually something along the line of, play a game, read a page in a book, read a news magazine, just the sort of things that maybe I could do to be more mindful, to add structure to my day and to my life. And it helped. But then I realized that the next step is to stop using the checklist, because the checklist helped me to maybe wean myself off of certain habits, to spend less time doom scrolling, to spend less time watching news videos and stock market videos and things that just don't really add to a sense of peace and zen in my life, if you will. But the checklist isn't an end in itself. It's sort of like if you learned how to drive. You start with the manual of all of the rules of the road, and it's really important to be able to keep those on the forefront of your mind, to know what you need to be doing and what you need to be thinking about. But then after a certain point, it's not about the checklist. It's about just having the experience. It's about doing things every minute of every day that you choose to do, to be mindful, to be present. And some days you'll do all the things on the checklist, and some days maybe you won't. Some days you might read a good book all afternoon, and one day maybe you don't read a book at all. But it all starts to be organic, and you start to say, I'm going to spend the time I have doing things that matter to me. And I've simplified my gaming routine because I've realized I'd rather just spend my time really enjoying a small smattering of really good games. And if I don't get around to playing a bunch of the other ones for a while, or maybe not ever, that's all right. Because there's so much lost energy in stopping and starting, in the friction of losing momentum and dividing your attention between an endless number of competing priorities. It's like the city builder games. I could play Anno 1800 and City Skylines, a couple excellent city building games. Or I could keep going back to the Steam library to look at the hundreds of indie titles and everything else that I could possibly spend time doing. Same thing with RPGs. I could spend my time playing a couple games that are just soothing and meaningful to me, like Elder Scrolls Online and Genshin Impact, or I can constantly be thinking, oh, I need to finish that playthrough of Witcher 3, and I've got all these other RPGs and Assassin's Creed and different things that are on the bucket list of one day I need to do them. It's fine. Maybe one day I will. Maybe one day I'll finish the content that I haven't finished and my favorite games, and I'll be thinking, I guess I've kind of done what I needed to do, what I wanted to do. I think I want to switch to something else now. That's okay. But it should be mindful, it should be peaceful, and the things that we're doing should give us a sense of tranquility. There's a lot of people that are out there raging against the night. And we're all going to reach the end of our lives. Whether you're talking about the end of a day or you're talking about the end of your life, it's the same basic thing. You can look at the sun setting and you can enjoy the cool of the night, and you can enjoy the stars above you, and you can celebrate this time you have. Or you can be always frenetic about things beyond your control. You can be worrying about what hasn't been done. You can be frustrated about what you couldn't control. You can be worried about the things that you still want to get done before the end comes. And there's no point in it. So be at peace, whatever you choose to do. Spend more time doing fewer things. And understand that life is not made richer by adding more content. At some point, it just becomes noise. It's fascinating how if you take something really good and then you add a sequel to it, that's incredible. But if you keep adding things, you'll reach a point of critical mass where you're not adding value. Because all you're doing is making all of the other things that used to be meaningful and special feel overwhelming. It's not about adding content. It's not about always feeling like more is better. When I go to the store and I think I want to go buy a snack or I want to go buy food for myself, I think it's interesting how you can have thousands of things that are all available for selection in a store. And yet out of the 200 different flavors of salad dressing, I really only am going to probably ever buy half a dozen different flavors. You see, we have endless opportunity for selection and choice, but does that selection and choice make our lives better? It does to a point. It's nice to be able to choose whether you want ranch dressing or a vignette. But do you really need 200 different flavors? At what point does it just become endless variations on a theme that complicate your ability to make a choice and contribute to decision paralysis, but don't actually do anything to make your life feel more meaningful? It's really important to understand that it's okay to let content pass you by. It's okay to say, you know, I may well just never get to that. But other people are going to have the experience. Other people are going to get around to doing a lot of things I'm never going to have time to do. And that's part of the legacy that we share. We aren't really islands. We have experiences that all contribute to the human experience as a whole. So if you don't get around to doing everything, well, there's going to be other people that see those sunsets and sunrises on the other side of the world in the places where your feet may never step. So don't worry too much about what doesn't get done. Don't worry about content you're missing out on. Just fill your day with things that are special and cut out the things that you don't care about at all. And you'll find that when you do that, there's a lot of things which you will have more time for because you're not spending it on all of the stuff you didn't care about at all. You're not spending it on negativity. You're not spending it on thinking negative thoughts about other people. You're not spending it on meditating on trouble and problems and what's wrong with the world. You're focusing on things that give you a sense of wholeness and a sense of peace. And when you do that, sometimes even if you're doing fewer things, you're more mindful about the things that you're doing. And then you wind up getting through content. You start getting things done one thing at a time. And then after a while, you look over your life and you realize you've done a lot of things because you're doing one successfully executed task at a time, instead of starting something and stopping it and jumping into something new and turning your head every single time something interesting and new comes to pass that maybe you think warrants turning your head. It's kind of like finding a good relationship. If you found the love of your life, would you say, oh, I found the perfect person, but I need to try everybody to see, what I'm missing? Well, I guess you'd miss the entire point of what makes a relationship beautiful. It's not about experiencing everybody in the world. It's about finding something meaningful and then committing to it and letting yourself experience depth instead of breadth. As always, wherever you find yourself, good luck on your adventure. Till next time, thanks so much for watching.